I see you. We're gonna get it back. One more. Come on. 999. There it is, baby. We got it. We did it. That's the one. 100K. Yes. 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 Well, here we are. 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I'm like seriously in disbelief. I don't even know what to say. I was at like 75,000 subs like 3 weeks ago or something like that, and it just shot up like lately. I'm kind of in shock. So thank you so much. I feel like I did it, we did it, and PlayStation Speedrunning did it. We're finally like on the map. PlayStation Speedrunning being on the map, huge deal to me. Thank you all. Seriously, it means a lot. Now, as promised, I said I would do a Q&A, and I asked, well, mainly the reason I wanted to do a Q&A is because I don't feel like a whole lot of, there's probably a lot of new people that don't know who I am, don't even know what I look like. Hi, this is what I look like, even though I stream with like webcam on Twitch like pretty often. So we're doing Q&A for 10,000. I asked questions, I asked questions on Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and Patreon. So I dragged, you know, I took some of the questions from you guys, compiled them in from all 4 platforms, and we're gonna jump right into those questions right now. How old are you? Where are you from? Who is your favorite rapper? I'm 25 years old. I was born and raised and currently reside in Denmark, and my favorite rapper is probably MF Doom. How did you start speedrunning? Why did you start documenting the phenomenon? So, I was a Let's Player from 2009 to 2011. My Let's Plays are still up, but they're all private because I don't want to share any of them. They're all embarrassing. But there were a bunch of other Let's Players from like Spyro, Ratchet, Sly, Jack, stuff like that. They were asking me if I wanted to join a tournament where you could like race other people. It was called I'm a Speedrunner. They asked me to join I'm a Speedrunner 3, which at the time I denied, but once I'm a Speedrunner 4 came around, which was a Ratchet & Clank tournament, I was like, yeah, put me in, like sign me up. And I signed up and it was a lot of fun. I actually won my very first race, which took place on April 6th, 2011, so over a decade ago. And then from there, I joined I'm a Speedrunner 5, which was like a Crash Bandicoot tournament. And there was a runner by the name of Samurai Man who joined. You might have heard of him. He's a little known. And he joined I'm a Speedrunner 5, tore through the whole tournament. Because he was like actually a speedrunner. He wasn't like Let's Players like any of us. But he like reached out to like me and a couple of my friends. He's like, hey, you guys are pretty good. You guys should check out Speedruns Live. And so in 2012, like early 2012, I found Speedruns Live. And on the front page, I realized that like people weren't just using this website for racing. People were doing like attempts. What are these attempts? They were trying to beat the world record. And then I found Siglemic, and I found like all these other, like, you know, I found Narcissa, I found Trihex, I found all these like people on the front page. I found out about GDQ. I followed GDQ 2013. I was like, I gotta go to this. And then I went to ESA 2013, and I was like sucked in. And I started running a bunch of different games, racing a bunch of different games. I got so sucked into the community and the world, and it was a wonderful time. So I started documenting speedrunning because, well, if I'm going to be honest, I didn't like my job at the time. I was kind of depressed, just like delivering food or whatever. Like, it just wasn't a whole lot of fun. So around the time, I was like, I love speedrunning. I know I want to do it for a living because I just do it on a daily basis anyway. So I had a talk with my friend Sippy, who also kind of was looking to get his life back on track. And we moved in together in the UK. So like I just traveled to a different country. And within like 3 days of being there, I'm like, you know, I kind of want to try this YouTube thing. See if it's something that I enjoy. See if it's something that it's, you know, could work out for me. At the time, I had another friend called Harry Coop who I knew from like GoldenEye running and stuff. And he had a laptop because COVID like hit pretty much right as I moved. COVID hit, which was like typical. But he had a laptop that he wasn't using because he wasn't going to uni. He was staying home for school. So he literally borrowed me his laptop, what a homie, and on that laptop, I made classics like the Hover Glitch video, the 3 Old Gods of Mirror's Edge video, and the Man Who Broke Spyro in Half. On a little laptop, I made all that stuff work. I was seeing growth with it, and then I just kept doing it. Do you work? If so, what do you do? Nope, I currently do this full time. I knew you mainly from speedrunning on Twitch. What made you interested in making videos? There's 2 reasons for this one. The first one was that there was a huge lack of PlayStation speedrunning videos out there. I'd been in the scene at the time for like 8-9 years, and I was like, dude, I've witnessed so many cool moments in PlayStation speedrunning. I gotta make videos about this. And the second one was I was inspired by, it's easy to say I was inspired by like Summoning Salt, but like which I was, but the big one was actually EasyScape. EasyScape was, I saw the potential in his videos. I saw the numbers he was pulling, and we met at a GDQ at one point. We hung out, and he gave me like a pep talk and said like, hey, you should like try making videos. Like, I'm sure you would do great. And that didn't click right away. It took like a year for me to like realize that like, you know, there is super potential in this. And then I started from that. So thank you, EasyScape. What age were you when you started speedrunning, and how long did you do it for? When I joined that speedrunning tournament in 2011, I was 14, and I'm still running today at 25, so yeah, 11 years. If you had the freedom of making videos about any subject you could and have them be successful, what would you make a video about? I mean, to be honest, I love doing speedrunning videos. I don't think I would want to do anything else, so it's got to be this. If it wasn't for speedrunning, I'd probably be doing videos about, like, hip-hop or something. What's your general process for making videos like? Do you start off with a clear idea of what you want to make, or is it more of a vague idea? Where do you figure it out along the way? So yeah, for the most part, I would say it's a vague idea. A lot of the time, I can picture, like, the montage. Like, you guys know me, I love the montages. I can picture, like, the montage, like, way ahead of time. For example, the Deo Man video, I thought of the, like, little montage that's, like, in the 3-4 minute part of the video. I knew the song beforehand. I thought of the kickflip. I was just in the shower, and I just envisioned it. I, like, saw it. I'm like, I'm making a video on that. Like, I knew I wanted to make a video on Deo, like, before that. But, like, once I saw a clear vision of, like, I want to execute this kind of montage, this vague idea that I have, then I pull through with it. Sometimes I can also envision a story, but my videos are usually too long so that it's only, like, a part of a story that I can see. Is there a topic that you wanted to do a video about, but ended up deciding against? I've never actually been in the writing phase and then scrapped it. I've had thoughts about videos, and then, like, I'm like, nah, I don't really know about that. But I was gonna cover the Metal Gear Solid skip about where you, like, walk through the wall. It's called Boba Skip, but I don't really cover new, like, things, like news-related stuff. I usually cover old stories and, like, history and things like that. It's kind of what I enjoy more. And also, I didn't really feel like there was any, like, length to the Boba Skip video, so I was like, yeah, I'll just scrap it. One more thing I will say is that I almost scrapped the AI video, actually. Which I'm kind of glad I pulled through with. But yeah, at the time, the research was just kind of overwhelming, but I pulled through with it. Do you have any side projects going, and will we see them on the archive soon? Congrats on the new world record, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, I'd actually like to introduce you guys to a series called No Ooge. It stands for No Off of Jetboard. It's a community, it's a Jak and Daxter community project where we basically grind different jetboarding clips and put it into a video and just, like, style, I guess. Like, it's not really speedrun related. It's just like it's just a skate video. And I definitely know that we're working on a third one right now, and it will come out this year. What do you look for in a story that warrants telling it to your audience? Also, big GGs when you hit it, bro. Much appreciated, Potty. This is a really good question because I get a lot of people asking me like, hey, Ricky, are you going to cover this new skip in this game? And I'm usually like, yeah, I could make like a 5-minute video about it, I guess. It's like, I'm really looking for something with a lot of meat to it. I don't want to just be like, this skip happened, end of story. Like, I need something with layers. I need something with, like, twists and turns. I need something that has a lot of, like, length to the story. I like making my videos longer. I like diving into history. I need just a good story. Like, something that's lengthy, basically. Out of all the videos you've made, which do you think, or remember, to be the hardest to do? Also, which one did you enjoy doing the most? I'm gonna have to say the hardest video I've made is gonna be a 3-way tie. The AI video, the Man Who Broke God of War in Half, and the Sly 2 video. The most enjoyable video that I've done is definitely the Deo one, because what I had up here came down perfectly on paper. Not only that, it was easy to write, it was easy to, like, research, and it was easy to, like, interview Deo Man. Like, Deo Man and I, like, we kicked it off really well together, so that was easy. And dude, the video took 3 days to edit. Like, 3. That's so easy. And it was received super well, so, like, I enjoyed the editing process. It didn't take me very long, and people seem to love it, so it has to be that one. Question: what story dragged you down the rabbit hole the most? Oh, definitely the God of War video. Like, do I even need to explain? Like, Like, God Mode God and Sadvara were just, like, characters. Like, there was always more to learn about them, so, like, yeah, that one. Do you plan to upload more after reaching such a big milestone? Love your stuff, by the way. Thank you. Not really. Probably not, no. Sorry, I just take my time with what I do. Of all the videos you've made, which are you most proud of and why? Much respect and keep doing what you do. Thank you. Too kind. Oh, like, no contest, it's gotta be the Sly 2 video. Like, it just turned out so good. Considering you put Metal Gear music in the videos, are you going to do a video on a Metal Gear Solid game speedrun? Yeah, a Metal Gear video is long overdue. I just need the right story. What games are you excited about covering in the future? Which was your favorite to cover so far? I'm always excited to cover games that I've already covered, but just like tell different stories within the games, like Jak, Ratchet, Sly, stuff like that. But again, Metal Gear Solid is long overdue. I'm definitely excited about covering that at some point. And my favorite to cover so far, probably, yeah, it's gotta be Jak. Like, I love all the Jak videos. Like, they're the most fun to do for sure. If any, what other creators did you watch to get inspiration from? Do you still watch others for inspiration, or do you think your style is pretty defined at this point? This is actually probably my favorite question, because I spend a lot of time on YouTube. Not really for inspirational purposes all the time. I don't just like go on YouTube to like study other creators or whatever. Just due to enjoyment. I really like the DIY feel of like scrappy YouTubers trying to make a living, trying to like put out content for whatever they enjoy. And I think that's really sick. If we go back to like the late 2000s, like early 2010s, my favorite creator is probably James Rolfe from Cinemassacre, the angry video game nerd. Towards like the mid 2010s, I felt like Lemino became like easily my favorite creator. It was kind of like a no-brainer for a long time, honestly. He's still one of my top creators for sure. And right now, I'd say Emp Lemon is like my biggest inspiration and favorite YouTuber probably. Even going as far as to like, I've used some of his songs. Like I've kind of studied like how he does specific things. He is definitely a huge inspiration. Other than that, I watch a ton of YouTube channels just for leisure, so let's just list them all here. For speedrunning, some of my favorites are Virtual, Hummeldon, Average Trey, Summoning Salt, Maximum, and Jabo. I watch a lot of music channels as well. I really like Turismo, Yokai, Tracklib, 108 Mics, Clout Cancun, and Mike the Snare. The horror channels are on like a whole nother level when it comes to production, so I watch a lot of those. I'm a huge fan of Nexpo, Nick Crowley, Disrupt, JCS Criminal Psychology, Atrocity Guide, and Barely Sociable. Some other miscellaneous channels I like are Awesome Sauce, Internet Historian, Wavy Web Surf, Oversimplified, Patrick CC, and 3 Clicks Philip. First of all, congrats. You deserve more recognition. Your content is amazing. Thank you so much. As for the Q&A, would it be possible to cover more Jak runs, lore, history, and events, or did you already cover the most interesting runs and discoveries already? Oh, I could go on about Jak forever. Like, there's always stories to tell in Jak, I think. It's gonna be harder to run out in Jak, so there's more coming soon for Jak and Daxter for sure. When making speedrunning vids, do you make vids on games you are already involved in, or do you intentionally look out for new interesting speedrun games? What does that process look like? Yeah, definitely a mix of both on this one. It's always nice to make a video about Jak or Ratchet because, like, I don't really need to do a whole lot of research. Like, I was there, so it can make things kind of easy, and also it's the things I'm the most familiar with. Then there's, like, a middle ground with, like, the God of War video, for example. It's like, yeah, sure, I had a world record in 2017. That's when I, like, primarily ran the game. But the story I covered takes place in, like, 2007, so it's like I have to do a lot of research. And then there's probably going to be games in the future that I won't know anything about. I won't know the history of anything. But yeah, that's for another time. That's probably like to come eventually. Congrats, man. Thank you. And for the Q&A, I want to ask, how do you do your research? Like, where do you get all of your resource/information from? And keep up the good videos, man. Excited for what you do next. Thanks a lot. Yeah, this goes back to the last question a little bit. Like, a lot of this is up here. Like, I was there, I've been there, done that. Like I was there when Tuval broke the game in half. I was there when Sage had his legendary 203 that like was world record for like multiple years. Like, I've seen it all, you know, not every story obviously, but like a lot of these, like, I remember them. But there are stories where like I need to like either ask runners about specific things, dig through speedrun.com history, speed demos archive forum threads, speedruns live race results, Google Docs leaderboards sometimes, archive.org sometimes as well, like just different websites. You know, it's just about digging a lot and just like knowing where to look. My question, do you have a bias towards PlayStation games, and if so, why? They seem to be the bulk of the channel content, and as a fellow PS games enthusiast, I'm curious. Congrats on the milestone. Thank you. I think this one's pretty simple. I grew up with a PS1 and PS2, and there's just not enough content for the games on the consoles. When you first started making scripted content, how did you find motivation to push through the process? I always say the exact same thing to everyone that wants to get into like making scripted content. Make your videos short. Like, start off with like a 5-10 minute video just to build skills in like voiceovers, editing, all that stuff. Everyone wants to make these like grand 2-hour epics of like a world record progression of like the game that they run and like 2 other people. But it's like, dude, just start short. Like even I started short, and then you can start becoming more ambitious and making your videos longer, like in the long run. And once you've got the whole process down, that's how you stay motivated. That's how you end up like finishing projects. Is like when you know what you're doing next, it's a lot easier to just like stay on the right track. What is an unpopular opinion you have about speedrunning? I really like full second timers, and that seems to be an unpopular opinion. I don't know, let's say the record is 1 minute on this IL, and it goes to 59. I think that's like a huge deal. Ratchet Deadlocked has that, for example, for their ILs. GoldenEye Perfect Dark has that. I think that's super hype when like a full second is cut to get an untied. I don't really follow a whole lot of Mario Kart because like the ILs are usually like you shave off milliseconds, and it just doesn't interest me in the same fashion. What's your favorite game to speedrun, and what's your favorite to play casually? My favorite game to speedrun kind of changes a lot, but I always tend to go back to Jak 3, so I'll go with that one. I'm not really sure if I can answer my favorite casual game, because I feel like you can overplay anything, and it'll just eventually become stale, right? Good Old Qatar asks, if you could be top tier level at any speed game tomorrow, which one would you choose and why? Now, I know Qatar is fishing for the Dust Force reply, but I'm probably going to say something like Half-Life. I feel like being top tier at Half-Life would be insane. Like, imagine just being, like, trash at bunny hopping to being, like, a b-hop god. It's one of the most optimized games out there. It would be sick to be good at it, yeah. What is, in your opinion, the best speedrun you've ever done? Could also be the one you're most proud of. The best speedrun I've ever done is probably my 1934 in Ratchet & Clank New Game Plus that I set in 2018. It was a pretty sick run for the time. It had like really minimal mistakes, and like the movement is just so hard that like it's really, really hard to perfect. But yeah, that's probably my best, yeah. How did you get into the speedrunning scene? What was the first game you ran? Any world records? I've already kind of went over my speedrunning story, so I'll just answer the second and third question. I did a bunch of various races of like different games, but I feel like the first game I really ran and like practiced and did runs of was Crash Bandicoot 2. World records, you say? Mm-hmm. Well, I've had a few. In all of these games. And also all of these games. Alright, let's be honest, like, I've pretty much lost all of them due to time, and I only have, like, a couple of Jak, Ratchet, and Sly records left, so... RIP. What has surprised you the most over the years? Either how much a game could be broken, something with runners, how fun a game was to run, etc. So, I'll first say that I'm surprised that I'm still speedrunning. It's been, like, 11 years. Like, I'm so knee-deep into it now, I can't really stop. I'm so ingrained... I don't think I will stop, to be honest. I don't know what else I'd be doing, and I do enjoy doing this whole thing. As for games being, like, broken, I'm just surprised how much Jak 3 has evolved. Like, I was pretty much the first 80% runner of the game. I beat, like, my first run was, like, 1 hour and 36. The game's, like, 22 minutes now. It's like, holy... Dude, we shaved off an hour, like, over the course of, like, a decade. So, it's been a pleasure to see that progression. What is your favorite moment of your entire time speedrunning? I would love to know because I always watch your streams and they are amazing. Well, thanks. I don't want to sound like corny or anything, but like it's got to be just the friends that I've made along the way. Like, yeah, I've set like a lot of really good records and stuff like that, but I wouldn't stay in speedrunning if it wasn't for the individuals I've made. Just the friends keep me around for sure, yeah. Are you ever planning on speedrunning Dog's Life again? Yeah, so fun fact, I set a record of 12:43 in Dog's Life in 2017, and it stood all the way until 2 weeks ago as of recording this right now. So yes, I do want to take it back at one point, yeah, for sure. Do you plan on returning to Ratchet & Clank speedrunning? Yeah, eventually. It'd probably be Ratchet 1 or Deadlocked, but I feel like a lot of people aren't really aware that I still like speedrun games on Twitch, and I still upload them to YouTube. It's just on a different account called ThaRixer Speed Archive. I used to upload like every PB. It would go to this channel, the ThaRixer channel. But now I have it on a separate channel just to like, you know, differentiate the documentary stuff and the runs. So I just use 2 different channels now. So go subscribe to my old if you still want to see the runs. How the hell did you learn to dance like this? Okay, so when I was like 11 years old, I found this video on YouTube called Shuffle Practice 4. And it was this guy in like a purple hoodie and like these big like baggy pants and stuff like that. And he was like sliding along the floor. I was like, whoa, like I want to do that. So I just learned it. And somehow like, you know, all these years later, it's like I can still do that. And, you know, it was a whole rabbit hole back then. Like shuffling was just kind of a like an interesting, it's definitely like a product of its time, like the music as well, like fucking hardstyle or whatever. But yeah, it was a product of its time, and I can still bust out the move every now and then. Like that video that Laura asked about, that was like last February, so that was like 2 months ago where I did that. What is your favorite song? What is your favorite color? Ooh, favorite song? Well, that always changes, but right now, J Dilla, Don't Cry. The story of my color is actually quite interesting. When you make an account on theelite.net, that's a website that tracks GoldenEye and Perfect Dark records, you are given a color. Now, you can put in like your preference as to what you want your color to be, so I put in like black, purple, and blue, and I got given this really nice grayish purple that has the hex code 8989A7, and it's just stuck with me ever since. If there was anything you could change about the speedrunning community or about speedrunning in general, what would it be? This is actually a really great question, and I have 2 things that I would want to change. The first one is I'd like to see a return to races a lot. Races were really, really fun. Like, you know, I used to do them all the time on Speedruns Live, but I feel like a lot of people are like super like focused on growing their stream and like gaining followers and viewers, which is totally okay, but it is creating that disconnect between the community and the streamer. You just don't really have that sense of unitedness that was like there once, you know, when people used to race a lot. So that's the first one. The second one isn't really as relevant anymore, but I feel like it's something that I should mention. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really feel like cheating videos or like drama videos about speedrunning is doing anything good for our scene. I've met a bunch of people that, you know, when they hear the word speedrunning, they just think, oh, right, that's that guy who cheated, right? And then they don't really look any further into it, and I think that's spreading really bad light on the people that are actually trying to get records legitimately. So it's just like kind of something I'd like to see change. I understand that that's not something I can do, but I'm going to try and continue to just cover the people that I feel like deserve the spotlight. How has speedrunning changed your life? Community, events, social skills, etc. Yeah, so once I finished school, I feel like I was kind of lost because I had a tough time reconnecting with like my school friends because we have a huge drinking culture over here and I don't really drink. So that's that's a really, really big way to like get back into talking with your old pals and stuff. But since I don't really party or anything like that, I kind of just lost contact with everyone and I got more sucked into the world of speedrunning. So I really owe most of my life to this community. I built confidence from speedrunning. I built social skills. I built leadership. Even like it feels weird to say, but like 10 years ago, I was just some annoying kid who was just like speedrunning and stuff like that. 10 years later, here I am trying to like, I made like a Discord server, like rounding people up for the upcoming ESA event, which is a speedrun marathon in Sweden. To everyone who's going, I'm trying to help people like get there, like how to get, which airport to go to, like so much responsibility. Like it's just crazy how much like the scene has grown and how much I've grown through the scene as a whole. So yeah, it really is everything, and I'm very grateful for the people, like for the friends that I've made within the scene. And that's going to do it for the Q&A. Thank you guys again for 100,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Twitch, all that shenanigans. It's all in the description. And thank you again to my patrons. You guys keep me alive. It means the world to me. And I'll probably see you next month for another video. Peace.